राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद। श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद। श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधे। जय जगन्नाथ बलदेवा सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शना। जय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय जय गौरांग निताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 श्रील प्रभुपाद। जय गुरुदेवा 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 जय गुरुदेवा। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिजकाचार्य अष्टोसरस डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणन भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। ISKCON BBT फाउंडर आचार्य शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिजकाचार्य अष्टोसरस डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रज भूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। द्वारकापुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मैया की जय। यमुना मैया की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। पतित पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। शिला प्रभुपाद ट्रांसडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं Pangum langayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, Text number 6. Yatha vastuni panyani hemadini tatastataha Paryantanti naresh iva Jivo yenushu kratarshu Yatha vastuni panyani Hemadini tatastata Paryantanti naresh evam Jivo yenushu kratarshu Yatha vastuni panyani Hemadini tatastata Paryantanti naresh evam Jivo yonishu kartashu. Yatha vastuni panyani Hemadini tatastataha Paryantanti naresh evam Jivo yonishu kartashu. Yatha vastuni panyani Hemadini tatastataha Paryantanti naresh evam Jivo yonishu kartashu. Yatha vastuni panyani Hemadini tatastata Paryatanti naresh evam Jivo yonishu kartashu. Vaishnavis. Word by word translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Yatha, just as. Vastuni, commodities. Panyani, meant for trading. Hema adini, such as gold. Tataha, from here to there. Paryatanti, move about. Nareshu, among men. Evam, in this way. Jiva, the living entity. Yonishu, in different species of life. Kartrashu, in different material fathers. Translation. Just as gold and other commodities are continually transferred from one place to another in due course of purchase and sale, so the living entity, as a result of his fruitive activities, wanders throughout the entire universe, being injected into various bodies in different species of life, by one kind of father after another. Purport. It has already been explained that Chitraketu's son was his enemy in a past life and had now appeared as his son just to give him more severe pain. Indeed, the untimely death of the son caused severe lamentation for the father. One may put forward the argument, if the king's son was his enemy, how could the king have so much affection for him? In answer, the example is given that when someone's wealth falls into the hands of his enemy, the money becomes the enemy's friend. then the enemy can use it for his own purposes. Indeed, he can even use it to harm its previous owner. Therefore, the money belongs neither to the one party nor the other. The money is always money, but in different situations, it can be used as an enemy or a friend. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, it is not by any father or mother that the living entity is given his birth. The living entity is a completely separate identity from the so-called father and mother. By the laws of nature, the living entity is forced to enter the semen of a father and be injected into the womb of the mother. He is not in control of selecting what kind of father he will accept. Prakrite kriyamanani. The laws of nature force him to go to different fathers and mothers, just like a consumer commodity that is purchased and sold. Therefore, the so-called relationship of a father and son is an arrangement of Prakriti or nature. It has no meaning and therefore it is called illusion. The same living entity sometimes takes shelter of an animal father and mother, and sometimes a human father and mother. Sometimes he accepts a father and mother among the birds, and sometimes he accepts a demigod father and mother. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhaktilata Bij. Harassed life after life by the laws of nature, the living entity wanders throughout the entire universe in different planets and different species of life. Somehow or other, if he is fortunate enough, he comes in touch with a devotee who reforms his entire life. Then the living entity goes back home, back to Godhead. Therefore it is said, जनमे जनमे सभी पिता माता है पाए कृष्ण गुरु नहीं मिले बज हरि आए. In the transmigration of the soul through different bodies, everyone in every form of life, be it human, animal, tree or demigod, gets a father and mother. This is not very difficult. The difficulty is to obtain a bona fide spiritual master and Krishna. Therefore, the duty of a human being is to capture the opportunity to come in touch with Krishna's representative, the bona fide spiritual master. Under the guidance of the spiritual master, the spiritual father, one can return home back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। यथा वस्तूनि पण्यानि हेमादिनि ततस्ततः पर्यंटन्ति नरेश एवं जीवो योनिषु कर्षु। Just as gold and other commodities are continually transferred from one place to another in due course of purchase and sale, so the living entity, as a result of his fruitive activities, wanders throughout the entire universe, being injected into various bodies in different species of life, but by one kind of father after another. Hare Krishna. I am extremely fortunate and grateful for the opportunity given to me for serving all of you. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Canto 6, Chapter 6, 16, Text 6, entitled King Chitraketu Meets the Lord. And his beautiful purport, Srila Prabhupada instructs us about various aspects. The brief background is Chitraketu had a son. He was not destined to have a son, but by the mercy of Angira Muni, he got a son named Harshashok. Initially, the son gave him pleasure, but we know by the action of his other wives, whom he neglected, they poisoned him and he met his death. And now the scene is Chitraketu and his favorite wife, Kritadyuti. They are lamenting. They are in a terrible distress. And Narad Muni and Angira Muni appear on the scene, briefly instructing Chitraketu. Narad Muni being very, very compassionate and teaching us many instructions through this particularly pastime. By his mystic power, invites the living entity, the soul of Harshashok. Sri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki jai, Gaurnita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Invites the soul of Harshashok to again enter the body and enjoy the life and have his parents as Chitraketu and Kritadyuti. And the son is now giving his realizations. And Prabhupada in his purport comments on the following aspects. How the son or the child is given to us by destiny based on our past fruitive activities. The translation talks about transfer of commodities, sale and purchase. The commodity is just like an instrument, goes from one hand to another hand depending on the price paid. And the analogy is given that even the child is like a commodity or an instrument in the hands of parents based on the past fruitive activities. Just as a commodity, gold or silver, can give pleasure when you have the silver or gold with you. But you get pain when that commodity is lost or stolen. Similarly, the child, who is an instrument, can give pleasure and pain, or both simultaneously, depending on the activities, fruitive activities of the child and the parents. And Prabhupada, therefore, in the purport, talks about Harshashok being an enemy of Chitraketu, who has appeared in this life to give him more pain. Initially, he gave him pleasure. So, what's the lesson for us? The analogy is about money. We have money. We can utilize it as per our own will. When we have money, we feel very nice. We have that desire for sense gratification. That the concept of free will, desire, deserve, and the material nature plays a very important role here. What can we do with the money? We can spend it on sense gratification and thus create more fruitive activities and invite another instrument to be an object of our pain or pleasure in our future. The second alternative, the same money we can give in charity. As Prabhupada explains us, the charity in pure goodness. Spend the money in Krishna's service, in devotee service, and be free of fruitive activities. The choice is with us. Money, as Prabhupada says, is money, is neutral. But how we utilize the money, for what purpose, gives us the end result. But that free desire that we have, how do we utilize it for the right purpose? That again Prabhupada explains later in a later part of the purport, because of the influence of the spiritual master, which we'll talk a bit later. So what's an instrument? And why we don't understand, a living entity cannot understand that I am an instrument. Prabhupada quotes, Kartaham iti manyate, prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha, ahankar vimudatma, kartaham iti manyate. The living entity is for all purposes, is an instrument. But because he identifies with the doership, controllership, maintainership, and being envious of Krishna, he has come into this material world. And he plays a role of a doer, plays a role of a controller, plays the role of a proprietor, and gets bound in further more and more fruitive activities. Krishna is very merciful. To fulfill the desire of the living entity, he has created this material world. He wants the living entity to experience whatever pleasure, so-called pleasure, the living entity will be going through in this material world. But simultaneously, he has provided something else. As we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi Swata Gyan, Jivera Krupa Kaile Krishna Veda Puran. Through the scriptures, we get the understanding about the spiritual master, the role of a spiritual master. So Krishna, being very kind, has provided us the scriptures. But we should have the desire to read the scriptures. If we don't have the desire to read the scriptures, that's why our desire plays a very important role. If we don't have a desire, then we have a desire for fruitive activities, sense gratification. And then, yes, we deserve the karmic reactions given to us by material nature. That shows the helplessness of the living entity. That's what Prabhupada says here. The father and mother are independent. The living entity is forced to become an instrument. Helplessness. Even though we have a desire, minute desire, we think we are the controllers. We are so conditioned and under so much illusion that we cannot realize our helplessness. At every stage of life of the living entity, he is helpless. He has to take the shelter of Krishna. But instead of taking shelter of Krishna, he takes shelter of Maya. Daivi esha gunamayi mama maya durattaya. Mameve prapadyante maya metam tarantite. We hear about it. We discuss about it. But taking shelter of Krishna or his representative is very difficult. It's a very lengthy process. Requires tremendous efforts and focus. And the living entity, since he has that independence to enjoy, cannot accept this discipline. Becomes very difficult for him to accept that discipline unless he is thoroughly trained. And that's why further Prabhupada talks about the rarity of such a living entity. Brahmand Brahmite kona bhagyavan jeev. Guru Krishna prasade paye bhaktilata bij. So it's very, very rare. Bhagyavan jeev. Who is very, very fortunate. And why is he fortunate? Because somewhere or other, he has got the mercy of the devotees. Directly or indirectly. And then, because that mercy has empowered him to arouse his desire to know why am I suffering. So as long as that question comes in mind, who am I? Why am I suffering? This desire cannot be aroused and then cannot come to this conclusion of approaching a spiritual master. Srimad Bhagavatam, our scriptures, talk a lot about this aspect of a living entity, how it transmigrates from one body to another. Bhagavad Gita talks about it. Srimad Bhagavatam talks about it. To give us more understanding, Srimad Bhagavatam talks about the realizations of great souls, pure devotees. There are discussions. Bhagavatam tells us that you should read Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, this is the first stage. But higher stage is, after reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you should leave Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why Vyakti Bhagavat and Shastra Bhagavat. Who is Vyakti Bhagavat? And we recite that particular shloka every day. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. What's the understanding of nityam bhagavata sevaya? First, read Srimad Bhagavatam, understand it, try to inculcate those teachings in our life, try to become a Bhagavat gradually, and serve other Bhagavats. It's not that I become a Bhagavat and others serve me. That's a wrong understanding. Oh, I have become Bhagavat, now I have a right to see that other Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis serve me. Bhagavata Sevaya. You become a Bhagavat. But your duty, your etiquettes are to serve others. Tolerate humiliations. Tolerate offenses. Tolerate any kind of behavior that you receive. Knowing that yes, there is a supreme cause of all causes, and that is Krishna. The person who is maybe humiliating me while I'm serving him. He may be putting in a different situation or very embarrassing situation, but I should not be provoked. I should tolerate, because he may be an instrument, but it's something indirect instrument, and indirect cause is there, and that cause is Krishna. So Bhagavatam mentions, not only discusses this aspect in theory, but in practice through dialogues, tells us how we should take gradual steps to inculcate these pastimes in our life gradually. It's a gradual process. Because the baggage of anarthas that we carry may not be totally eliminated in one lifetime. Patience is required. Utsahat nishayat dhairyat. So gradual cleansing process. Cheto darpana marjanam. So many beautiful pastimes we see. And we'll try to discuss 3 or 4 pastimes where we learn from these practical examples given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Where Srimad Bhagavatam tells us that come to that level of realization, come to the level of their behavior. And how to start? Bhagavatam is pure religion personified. Dharma. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Every word of Bhagavatam is a scripture for us. Is religion. Is a word of Krishna. So in the first canto itself, 17th chapter, Shukadeva Goswami and Vyasdev enacts a scenario. Who is the epitome of Shravanam? Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj moves around in his kingdom. And while moving around, he comes across a scenario which is baffling, which is very, very difficult to understand. He sees a Shudra wearing the dress of a king, mercilessly beating a bull and a cow. Bull has lost his 3 legs. He's standing on 1 leg, trembling and urinating. The cow is under distress. She's hungry and hankering for little grass. But this merciless Shudra is beating and giving them misery and unhappiness and distress. Parikshit Maharaj is furious. He is a king. His duty is to see that each and every citizen, maybe an animal, maybe a bird or a human being, has to be in peace and happiness. And what does he see? A cow and a bull. The scriptures glorify cows. The scriptures glorify bulls. They are in distress. So he is puzzled. He is asking a question repeatedly to the bull. Not once, twice, thrice. Tell me, who is the perpetrator of these miseries on you? Who has done this to you? Imagine the scenario. The Shudra is in front. Parikshit Maharaj is here. A bull is trembling, crying, urinating, and the cow is helpless. And what does the bull say? I say, I cannot identify the miscreant because I am bewildered by understanding the implications of different theoretical scriptures. I am bewildered. But in Prabhupada, in the purport, says yes, that bull, later on Parikshit Maharaj identifies himself as none other than Dharma, personified Dharma. Even though he has read all the philosophies of Gautama, Kannada, Patanjali, Kapila, and Vyasadeva, he appears to be puzzled and confused and bewildered. But inner understanding, as Prabhupada gives in the purport, he does not want to identify because he knows that whoever is perpetrating this misery is just an instrument. And there is a higher cause, the Lord Himself. And without this sanction, nothing moves in this material world. He is the cause of all causes, the supreme sanctioner. So unless He has sanctioned, this useless Shudra wouldn't have been beating me. So I have to tolerate. So this understanding that yes, I don't have to blame the instrument. I have to tolerate because the sanctioner is not this instrument, is the Supreme Lord Himself. So I must have been, I must have done something which deserves this type of treatment. So that's why he does not want to identify. And then he tells that I'm confused, I'm bewildered. And he says, yes, there are so many types of theories. People who deny, or philosophers who deny duality, say that yes, the self himself is the responsible. Some say some higher supernatural power is responsible. Some say work itself is responsible. Some say the nature is responsible. But I know just argumentative logic, imagination, or just words may not give a conclusion. O king, you are very intelligent. Use your intelligence and you come to its own conclusion. Intelligence. We all have sadhakas. Earlier we had brushed intelligence. The process is on purifying that intelligence. Buddhi yoga. Tesham satadiktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam. Dadami buddhi yogam tam enamam upayantite. The process is yes, develop that intelligence given to us by Krishna, Buddhi Yoga. And Parikshit Maharaj, the supreme epitome of Shravanam, He immediately understands, yes, you are none other than the personified Dharma. And you know that the destination of the perpetrator is same as the person who identifies the perpetrator. The highest understanding. Many of us don't understand this realization. We always accuse or blame. In privately also we blame someone. But what is Dharma telling us here? The person that the destination for the perpetrator of miseries is same as the person who identifies the miscreant also. And based on that, Parikshit Maharaj says, yes, you are Dharma personified. You know all the scriptures. So you can't be none other than Dharma. And there's the intelligence of Parikshit Maharaj. Why is he intelligent? Because he has heard for 7 days and 7 nights from Shukadeva Goswami. The epitome of Kirtanam. He has heard the Srimad Bhagavatam from his father, the compiler of Srimad Bhagavatam itself. The literally incarnation of Lord Krishna. So this is one example. Given in the first canto. Then in the same canto, we see how a role sons can play in our lives. Dhritarashtra, 13th chapter. How blindly is attached to his sons. As we see here, Chitraketu. Blindly attached to his son Harshashok. He wanted a son at any cost. Whether he deserved it or not deserved it. He had a desire. So, even Dhritarashtra, so blindly attached. His attachment even did not go even after the death of his sons. He was still attached. And another great Vaishnava, in form of spiritual master Vidura, had to come and instruct and guide him. A realized soul, Vidura. He again had tolerated such incidents in his life. The humiliations and insults of Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhana. Such a humiliation. He had tolerated. And what was his thought process? I have to do more bhakti. I have to be more focused. I have to remember Krishna more and more and more. And that's why he goes on pilgrimage. Tolerating whatever Duryodhana had said. Same here we say about Chitraketu. We'll come about Chitraketu a bit afterwards. 4th canto. King Anga and his son Vena. What is the fault of King Anga? Why did he get a cruel son like Vena? He didn't have to play any role. But his wife, Sunitha, was connected to some irreligious principles. She was the daughter of death personified. So that connection and culture played such an effect on Vena. And what a type of boy he was. So cruel. We understand death is so cruel. It doesn't spare anyone. Maybe an innocent child. Or a cruel, envious personality. Doesn't spare anyone. Death can come in any form. Painful cancer. Immediate heart attack. Miserable accident. Can come in any form. And the same Vena was exhibiting that cruelty. He was drowning children, killing children. That personified connection. And poor King Anga was desperate. He did endeavor. We can do endeavor, but results are not in our hand. He was desperate. Was he blaming anyone? No. He was not blaming anyone. He was trying his best to rectify his son. And when he knew that his situation is hopeless, he had a wonderful realization. He is an instrument in my life. The higher cause of all causes, Krishna, is teaching me something through him, through this particular behavior. I have to intensify my devotional life. I have to focus more, as Vidura realized it. I have to be more focused. I have to try harder. And without informing anyone, he left to the forest to attain his perfection and going back to Godhead. Did he blame? Was he morose? He tolerated with happy smile. That is tolerance. Sometimes being helpless we tolerate. But tolerating with philosophical understanding that I am helpless. I have to take shelter of Krishna. This is the only solution. We see in the life of Chitraketu. Here now he is lamenting. He is morose, full of distress. But same Chitraketu, what happens to him after he gets instructions from his spiritual master Narad Muni? He meets Lord Sankarshan. And then when Mother Parvati curses him, what is the reaction? Same is, can we imagine what a transformation Chitraketu has gone through? Such a Chitraketu was falling at each and every step. He couldn't get up, walking for a few steps, falling down again. Such blind attachment, blind, literally blind with attachment. He could not know what he is doing, falling again and again, getting up, falling down, getting up, running towards Shok. But same Chitraketu, after the instructions of Narad Muni and after prayers to Lord Sankarshan, totally transformed. He is at peace with himself. He is not in the mood to blame anyone. He accepts. Mother, yes, but please pray that wherever I go, I have the association of devotees. He understood the importance of association, the importance of a spiritual master. So Bhagavatam is teaching us at every stage how to deal with life. Life is a duality. We go on doing our purpose. Our purpose is to go back to Godhead. And this can be attained. This purpose of life can be attained through the guidance and training from a spiritual master. And that Prabhupada highlights at the end of the purpose. It's a takeaway point for all of us, that how a spiritual master plays an important role through his instructions. Bhagavatam also talks about it. Prabhupada in his translations talk about it. Parikshit Maharaj, when he wants to hear more about Krishna, in the 10th canto, because he is unhappy that Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami, has summarily, briefly condensed and told the pastimes of Lord Krishna and Balram in 9th canto, at the 24th chapter. Hardly 10-15 slokas, and he summarized everything. So he is not happy. He tell me in detail. And then he tells, I would like to hear Krishna's pastimes. From whom? A person like Nivritta Trishner. Nivritta Trishner Upagiya Manat. Bhava Aushadhi Shotra Manobhiramat. Ka Uttama Shloka Gunanuvarnat. Puman Virajet Vina Pashugnat. And in that purpose, in the translation, Prabhupada says that glories of Krishna to be heard from parampara, that from a spiritual master to a disciple. What does a spiritual master do? He tells us the importance of Krishna, the supremacy of Krishna, talks about his pastimes. And we have to hear this from a realized, pure devotee, Nivritta Trishne, who is not attached to any of these material opulences, free of all material opulences, absorbed and focused in Krishna's pastimes. And when we hear these pastimes from such a personality, who has the desire to enjoy material benefits? And Parishad Maharaj says, a person who does not evolve such a desire is like a pashugna. He is like killing himself for a butcher. This is the importance of a spiritual master. Again, Uddhav, while being instructed by Krishna, who talks to him about the importance of pure devotional service, how pure devotional service is better than Gyan and Karma. In 11th canto, 20th chapter, 17th shloka. Naradeham adyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpitam guru karnadharam mayanukulena nabhasviteritam puman bhavabdim nataret sa atmaha. Wow. Again the word atmaha. Butcher or who kills himself. Atmaha. So yes, all of Prabhupada's disciples in their purports give us very nicely, tell us importance of a spiritual master. Krishna again is talking about it. The living entity has got this human form. Why has he got this human form? He again gives an analogy of a bird. A bird who has built a nest on a tree, and if that tree is cut by cruel man, the bird leaves that tree. He is not attached to the tree. He goes to another tree and builds his nest again. Similarly, the human, the living entity who has got a human form, should not be attached to this material world. He should not aspire to live here forever. He can't build a house on a bridge. Nor should he desire to go to the heavenly planets. His purpose is to understand what's the purpose of life, or the highest perfection of life, and strive towards that by taking shelter of a spiritual master who provides him the scriptures, the scriptural understandings, and guides him back to Godhead. And that's why Krishna tells us that you behave like a doer because of ahankar vimudatma. That third chapter. Ahankar vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. In 11th chapter, where he shows universal form, he tells Arjuna, Tasmat tvam utishta yasho alabhasva jito shatrum bhungshva rajam samudram maya eva ete nita param purvam eva nimitta matram bhava savyasachi. Be an instrument. Nimitya. Don't be a doer, karta. be a nimitya. And if you become a nimitya, then what happens? He tells Arjuna in the 12th canto, 12th chapter. Adveshta sabra bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara. The same ahankar which makes us feel I am the doer, I am someone, I am of great importance, I am the Lord of this universe. But if you remove that ahankar, nir ahankara, then Krishna says, Sachame Priya, you become very, very dear to me. This is the understanding given by spiritual master. How to become dear to Lord Krishna and Radharani? Through these scriptural understandings, and these understandings to be applied in our life, day-to-day life, and live like a Srimad Bhagavatam, and follow in the footsteps of the spiritual master. Thank you. Because of all your presence and the mercy, Satam Krupa, I could share whatever I have heard from Srila Prabhupada's purports and Guru Maharaj's lectures, and thank you very much. Any comments? Erutipati Prabhu, Sundarsham Prabhu, they are here, they can share their realizations. Thank you very much. It's 9:10.
Thank you,
Yes.
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in the scenario of this bull and dharma, you explained that bull didn't recognize that Shudra is beating him, and he told that there are some other powers. But in case of Pandavas, that they were also miserable, but Krishna didn't recommend this same way to them, that your misery is due to some higher power. They are inspired to fight. So, like, there is same problem in both the scenarios, but the outcome is difficult. One way they are relying on higher powers, and another way Krishna is telling them fight. So how to understand it?
See, what is bhakti? Bhakti is a blend of responsibility and attaining perfection. Who are Pandavas? Kshatriyas. What is the prescribed duty? Fighting. You can't run away. So Krishna, through tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddhacha. So what is Krishna telling us? You can't run away from responsibilities. Brahmacharis have responsibilities. Grahasthas have responsibilities. Even Vanaprasthis and Sannyasis have got responsibilities. So do your responsibilities and attain perfection through these responsibilities. Tasmat sarveshu mam anusmara. That's what Krishna told Pandavas. Fight on my behalf. Right? And here, he's telling Dharma. Dharma himself is speaking. The truth. The religion. The religion, he's speaking and he's telling us, use your intelligence. I won't identify. Because what is the principle? If I identify, I will be also responsible for the karmic activity. So use your intelligence for someone else. Right? So if I identify someone, I will be responsible. But if someone comes to my help and protects me, Krishna will be pleased. That's why devotees have to be protected. If someone offends a devotee, that devotee remains quiet. But other devotees protect him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the protection of Nityananda Prabhu when he was attacked by Jagai Madhai. Nityananda Prabhu remained quiet. On the contrary, pardoned them, forgiven them, tolerated. He said, don't punish them. Transform them. This is dharma. So there's two different scenarios. Right? Have I satisfied you? Thank you. Yes, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So it's a very beautiful class, Prabhuji. Especially we were talking about how Chitraketu Maharaj got so much transformed that he was just able to take it as Krishna's mercy, and he was not in the mood to blame. Even though apparently, he may be able to see that there's a person who is cursing or something. So my question is, Prabhuji, that when we hear this, understanding of the Shastras, that how ultimately Krishna is the supreme cause, and because without his sanction, nothing is going to happen. But in practical life, as you said, that we see that there are instruments also, those who are bringing that. And if we are so focused in becoming Krishna conscious or going back to Godhead, then we can take those lessons that what way I should take it and go ahead. But at times, other times when we are not so brisk in our consciousness, there is a lot of tendencies that we internally blame. We may not sometimes, because theoretically we know this philosophy, this thing, but we, especially I'm telling about myself, that fail to not blame even at the core of our heart. Even though we may go on in life, but there is still some kind of not being able to forgive the person fully. There is some kind of like we may get affected by the person's behavior or the way he may be conducting, though it's actually for my good, that we understand. So how that not to blame at all, or that mood, how a sadhaka stage, how we cultivate that project, means how we can rise continuously, and we go forward in our journey, not get stuck. Or then, because then offenses will happen, some mental offense will happen, and that kind of becomes a block in our chanting or in our execution of Krishna consciousness in general also. So what way to be careful about, and and we have to grow also in that. So if you can throw more light on that. Yeah.
Thank you. May I know your name?
Raghav Kripadas.
Raghav Kripa Prabhu, you are very fortunate. You don't blame someone openly, which I do. You only, in your mind, you are thinking about that. That means you advance from verbal to mental. Right? So development. What is bhakti? Bhakti is gradual. It can't be one-time effect. It has to be gradual, continuous process. So you have attained such a stage, from verbal you come to mental. And then from mental you will be coming to intellectual level, as here Parikshit Maharaj is intellectual. And you will do that. It's a question of time, patience. This is the process of bhakti. That's why we are sadhakas. So you should be very fortunate. But don't be proud. Go on trying. Yes, Krishna, please make even such thoughts which come in my mind, please don't allow me to entertain such thoughts. You may be entertaining for 10 minutes. So next time it will cut down to 5 minutes. After that maybe 1 minute, 1 second, nil. So I don't know when that will happen, but yeah, we can hope. Asha, patience and hope are the two important aspects of bhakti. Dependence on Krishna. So you're on the right path. Thank you, Raghav Kripa Prabhu, for encouraging me.
So Prabhuji, when intellectually we understand,
yes,
and then but mind still needs some more purification.
Yes.
So what helps, as you said, that when we pray to Lord, that please make me blind of all this fault finding thing. And
endeavor from our side, again and again, try to forget. Yeah. When such thoughts come, try to throw them out. It's a struggle. But it's bound to. This is a process of bhakti. Easy as well as difficult. Correct. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।